Hey guys, this is PainUser bringing you another replay audio analysis, and this is a game between myself and EF or JianFei. For those of you who know him from Brood War, he was actually one of the better foreign Protoss players in Brood War, and he is also playing the Starcraft 2 and was playing the beta as well, but didn't play many games in the beta. And I actually asked him about that in the beginning of this game, as to why I didn't see him around in the beta, and it's because he didn't want to play the game while it was changing so rapidly. So he's been laddering real hardcore since the release of the game. He has over 200 games logged, and he's also very good. I'm also complaining a little bit about Terran versus Protoss on Blistering Sands. It's very difficult to hold off the 4-gate all-in on this map, especially if they break down your back door. But anyway, let me speed this up a little bit, just to get through the early part of the game. I'm building my first supply depot on 10, and getting my racks on 12, gas on 13. Just playing relatively standard. Generally, I will go for one base play on this map, just because it's so difficult to hold the back rocks, and I really like to get a huge standing army very early on just to deal with any kind of early pressure. But this game I actually decided to go with factory first and do some variation of the 1-1-1 build, and it actually plays out in a very interesting way. So I will show you guys how this all goes down. Now I'm just waiting for my first 100 gas so I can drop my factory. Meanwhile, JianFei has opened with an early cybernetics core, and he is waiting so he can chrono boost out that first stalker. Meanwhile, I'm trying to get a little bit of map control with my first marine. I do manage to find his probe outside of my destructible rocks, and a lot of Protoss players will build an offensive pylon there to try and warp units in. They can do all kinds of sneaky stuff, especially on this map. It's really difficult to stop anything like that. So at this point I've got my factory going up, and I'm continuing to just pump marines off of my single racks. And I'm also adding my second gas, and I do get that starport going as soon as I finish my factory. I scan his base and really don't see anything important, so I do end up scanner sweeping him in a little bit here. Because really, if you don't see what tech tree the Protoss is going down, you almost have to burn a scan. And if you see here, I just scanned his main, and I do see the robotics facility going up, so I have a much better sense of what he's doing and what to expect. And all the while I'm continuously producing marines out of this barracks, because he does do some early dual stalker pressure here. I actually anticipate this and move my marines close to the front of my ramp, and I had plenty of marines to deal with that by the time he got to my base. Here, let me make sure I'm on Do Not Disturb here. Getting random messages from people while recording is never fun. So now I'm moving out very early here because I want to establish an aggressive position somewhere in the middle of the map. And on this map, there's no better spot than right here. It's the choke point between the two bases. And he knows this is important territory. I know it's important territory. That's why he's had his stalkers and a probe sitting outside my destructible rocks for a majority of this game. He's been trying to take that out, so Now I'm continually producing tanks off of a single factory, and I'm also getting the siege mode upgrade while continuing to produce marines off of my single racks, but I do add a second racks here, and I do get a Banshee and a Raven throughout this game. I start out with the Raven just to counter the early DT pressure. I don't know whether or not he's getting Dark Templar, but I did see that Twilight Council coming up with another scan, because I was really worried what he was up to when I only saw the single robotics facility. So now I'm establishing a foothold on the middle of the map here. It also protects my natural. I still haven't taken my natural yet, but I'm just establishing this forward position, and he also knows about it. I knew he had an observer over my army this entire time. It was really frustrating me, but there's nothing I could do about it until I got that Raven out. So once I get the Raven out, I'll be able to deal with any kind of Dark Templar play or observers. So I do snipe that observer out, and I have been holding both the Zelnaga towers throughout this entire game. So I do see his army coming. He Guardian shields and tries to push in here. Very aggressive. Luckily I had that first bunker finished, and I have the second bunker going up, and I dropped an auto turret very early on in this battle, and it's actually paid for itself and then some. Auto turrets are actually very effective before you have enough energy for point drone defense. If you drop a few auto turrets in the middle of a battle, they can swing the battle in your favor. It's very helpful to have them out on the field. So here I just pick off his last two stalkers. He actually managed to pick off the SCV that I had building my natural expansion, delaying it a little bit more, but I sent another SCV down to that and get it going right away. So right here, I'm really on my back foot. I've lost all my siege tanks. My bunkers are both empty in mid. I have a single auto turret there and a few weak marines and a Raven. But I continually reinforce with more tanks, and I'm also adding another barracks and a factory at this point. And I am sending my Banshees to the middle of the map. And I'm really just adding the Banshees as a combat unit at this point. I'm not investing in Cloak. I'm not trying to do any cute Cloak play and win the game. Also, Cloak is a very expensive upgrade. It's 200. It's only really worth it if you know that your opponent is not getting observers, and he had that early robo, so I really don't think that the Banshee play is going to, pay off. So I'm just using them as a combat unit at this point. Now I'm trying to push him off of the Zelnaga tower here, but his blink upgrade actually finishes just in time. I remember this part of the game. And he blinks off of the Zelnaga tower. It's a great play by him. Now he also has his natural fully up and running. I still haven't Maynarded my SCVs yet. I'm going to do that pretty soon here. Guess it took me a little longer than I thought. I was more worried about what was going on in the middle of the map here. He actually blinks 4 stalkers up, picks off my forwardmost siege tank. He's using this observer to spot for his army. And right now I'm just focusing on holding this important ground in the mid. I've also double expanded to the top left. I wanted to take the gold very aggressively, because I knew he was way ahead in the economy game. I mean, look at his economy right now. It's just roaring. And the only reason my mineral economy is even close to his is because I'm able to double mule. So once you get 2 orbital commands up, double muling just puts your mineral income on roids, and you're able to stay on par with an opponent that actually is fully saturated on both of his bases. So here he's actually scouting the northern Zelnaga tower. He knows what's going on. He's also sending his observer to the high yield expansion and my natural, just to scout things out and figure out exactly what I'm up to. But now I'm getting a pretty solid army composition. I have my factory with a reactor, dual pumping Hellions. I also have 3 Banshees, a handful of Marines, and a few siege tanks.